Hey everybody, Adam and Danger here, coming back at you with some breaking news. Well, not necessarily breaking news, but just general team updates, news, free agent acquisitions, new head coaches, just an update on what we think is relevant to the upcoming football season. Obviously, you know the drill by now. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If your team you think has done well in free agency, comment below. If you think they've done poorly, also comment below because they're not immune to criticism, that's for sure. This is our first video, I think, since our Super Bowl video. So, Danger, it's great to see you.
It's great being back. I've been away. I've been on my month-long bender ever since my team won the Super Bowl. If you can't tell, I'm back. I'm healthy. Adam had to find me in a ditch somewhere, but
yeah.
I'm just.
Well, I was
happy
about
to
to ask you if you were still riding that high.
Oh, hell yeah.
From the Rams when I mean, absolutely. If the Jets ever won, I would watch a replay of that game every day.
It's on repeat in the house 24/7 right now.
Yeah, for sure.
For
sure. Also, be sure to join our Discord. It's going to be in the link below. We do all sports. Danger and I do NFL. I do NASCAR content, so you might have seen some of the videos on the channel already. It's currently March Madness. We're recording this on Thursday, so it's officially the first day of March Madness if you don't count the playing games. Danger, are you doing any brackets this year?
No, I sometimes go over to the Dive, the Edge podcast over there with our friends over there at the Edge DFS, and I joke that I really only watch professional football. Like any other sport, I'm just not in that circle and just don't know what's going on. So watching college football and making a bracket, man, it would literally be a shot in the dark, which is everything I'm against. Like, I feel like I need to be somewhat knowledgeable to participate in stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, really, you don't. It is actually kind of a game of chance. I saw earlier. Iowa lost earlier today, and so one of my three brackets is gone already.
Nice.
But after that loss, out of all brackets filled out on ESPN, there's only 1% left that are still perfect. So,
serious? There was already so many upsets this week.
There's just a huge amount. Yeah, I mean, Richmond over Iowa was a pretty big upset. So, so we got all that kind of content: NFL, NASCAR, college basketball. We got an MLB season coming up. They've sorted it out since our last video. So any kind of sport that you would want, be sure to join our Discord and chat with us, give us your feedback, all that good stuff. So, Danger, I was going to start with quarterbacks, but about 5 minutes before we started recording, I do want to talk about the first move. Davante Adams was just traded to the Las Vegas Raiders, and I feel like because that just happened, we should talk about it. It just says 2 2022 picks, which I can't imagine that's all, but maybe.
Yeah, and we were going over that, and they have a 22nd and a 56.
Yeah, so it's
a
nuts
first
that nobody
first
could.
and a second round pick. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if the only reason I could think that somebody wouldn't be able to beat that is Davante Adams was franchise tagged. He told the Packers he would not play under the franchise tag. He wanted a long-term deal. So if maybe there was another team that could have made a better offer, he probably was like, I'm not going to sign a long-term deal with that team. And so that's why they wouldn't want to give up the capital. That's the only reason I can think that the Raiders got him for what appears to be a pretty cheap price for Davante Adams.
Oh, yeah, so. Extremely cheap. Yeah, Raiders should be totally pumped for this. I do want to bring up two things about this trade. First thing, this is somehow Aaron Rodgers' fault. I don't know how, but it is, and I will blame him for this. Second thing is, did they remove... I didn't see anything, but did they remove the franchise tag? If you guys don't know, if someone says... or if a team claims a player as a franchise tag, it's sort of a mechanic where they can... honestly, they screw over the player and say, hey, we're keeping you for a year. You can't go anywhere. So just hearing about... And of course, like you said, Davante Adams was like, well, I'm not going to play for you guys then. But just hearing this after is just crazy. And you would have to think that these two primetime picks, these 2022 picks, are going to be receivers. Because, as you know, there's really... I don't want to say there's really no QBs in this draft day. but apparently it's loaded with receiver talent. So that's where my head's at with these two primetime picks.
Yeah, I don't think they removed the franchise tag from him. I think, once that came out, they were like, all right, then we're just going to trade him.
Yeah, they obviously did. I was just like, I didn't hear anything about it. Like,
yeah. So yeah, the draft is loaded with receiver help. Aaron Rodgers can't be happy about this. I mean, this is literally 2 days after they convinced him to come back.
Yeah.
So, I think Valdez-Scantling's gone. So I think the Packers receiving room is at the moment just Allen Lazard and Randall Cobb. So he can't be happy about that.
Randall Cobb's
so we'll see how that unfolds.
Yeah, Randall Cobb's speaking of 30 and like really banged up, and Lazard's like really unproven. So,
yeah, for sure. There's no way they just walk into it with those two guys.
Yeah.
So moving on, Danger, to your comment about the quarterback draft class, I think we're seeing that a lot of teams feel the same way. Because there's been a ton of movement in the quarterback side. The first guy we'll start off with is obviously Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Since our last recording, it doesn't appear that there's going to be any criminal charges for Deshaun Watson and his whole situation. So teams are back in it. We were going to record yesterday when it was really down to 4 teams. Now it's really down to 2. So at the moment, it appears that Watson is either going to go to the New Orleans Saints or the Atlanta Falcons. The Panthers were in it. The Cleveland Browns were in it, and we'll talk a little bit more about them later.
Yeah.
So, Danger, if you had to pick between the 2 teams, which one do you think Deshaun Watson will go to?
Sorry, say that again. I was getting up the
between the Saints and the Falcons.
So I was actually going to bring that up too. So far, I would have bet the house on the Saints. It would have been an easy fit for them. They have a great defense. They got some good wide receiver talent there. They just need a stud QB and new head coach and all that too. But apparently, and this was about an hour ago, by a guy called Sports Talk ATL Jake, Atlanta Jake, who is verified, who is, even though he doesn't have the followers to back it up, apparently is legit, because this was also the guy that broke news on Bill O'Brien was getting fired. So yeah, he's a new player in the in the NFL Insider trade talks kind of guy. So within this year at least, he's reported that it sounds like Deshaun is going to the Atlanta Falcons. He just recently tweeted say like Watson and his camp have not made a call to the Saints, and there's tons of other things to back that up right now too. The fact that Kyle Pitts was saying like Atlanta Falcons are going to be scary this year. He deleted that tweet. There's reports that Matt Ryan is super pissed about contract negotiations right now, and it's probably literally the Falcons saying like, "Hey, do you want to give up the $8 million guarantee that we owe you this year?" Like it's probably something like that. But yeah, and like right now again, Watson and his camp were supposed to have a call with the Saints an hour ago. It hasn't happened. It just looks have negotiated restructured contract. Yeah, man, it looks like it's all signs are pointing to Atlanta Falcons right now.
Yeah, I saw the tweet that you were referring to. It certainly does. I thought it had some validity to it. So we'll see. I'm still in the Saints camp. I just think it makes more sense.
It makes way more sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if we recorded yesterday, I still would have said it was going to be between the Saints and the Falcons.
Absolutely. Because they now have like $30 million worth of cap space.
Yeah.
And
when it was down to those final 4 teams, I knew there was no chance in hell he was going to pick Cleveland.
No.
And Carolina was a little bit of a dark horse, I think. But yeah. So I'm going to go with the Saints. Danger's going to go with the Falcons. So and if I'm looking off of my screen,
margins, but yeah.
Yeah. I keep looking off of my screen because I'm monitoring Twitter just to make sure that nothing else happens during the show.
I have Reddit up on the screen if you guys aren't aware, and again, we're just kind of servicing all this right now. But
Yep, that'll be the ultimate content if
yeah,
Deshaun gets traded while we're recording. So
and
let's talk about some of the other quarterbacks here. We talked about Aaron Rodgers already. He's staying with the Packers, but now with the Davante Adams news, that's a little bit in doubt.
with a
Kirk
huge
Cousins,
deal. Yeah.
yeah, huge deal. 3 years, 150 million guaranteed. Nuts. Kirk Cousins gets 35 million guaranteed on a 1 year extension with the Vikings. So I saw something where Kirk Cousins in his career has already made like $250 million.
And he's like
Absolutely nuts.
yeah, and like it's so crazy that how successful of a career he has. But and
Mhm.
going back to again, this is sort of like in the Watson, and man, let's just bring it up, like the whole Baker controversy going on right now too.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
all it feels like a lot of at least QB stuff is just waiting for Watson and just to see where the dominoes fall after that, because
Mhm.
we're going to see tons of movement after
Mhm.
Watson finally announces his team, and hopefully it's within you know our recording here.
Yeah.
But where I was going with that, so
Dominoes falling after
yeah,
Deshaun
so where
Watson
was I
gets
going with
traded.
that? Browns Baker, it is astounding that the Browns have tasted success for one season and are just regressing back into just a crappy franchise, dude.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so, like Baker has been through for his 4 years there. He's been through three coaches
Mhm.
and what, like 2 or 3 winning seasons, and they're just treating him like
Mhm.
he Baker brought this team out of irrelevancy. Let's be real.
Mhm.
And they're treating him like he's not a good quarterback. He's not top tier by any means, but
Mhm.
he is a very serviceable quarterback. He played through a season-ending injury last season for the team, and you can honestly say that second half of that season, man, that it looked like sabotage. Like the play calling,
Mhm.
not giving it to
Mhm.
Chubb, the ball to Chubb, having Baker throw like 40 passes a game on an injured shoulder.
Mhm.
It's so bizarre. And him, again with all this Twitter controversy going on, where Baker, I I think is a reasonable tweet, like, hey, I don't know what's going to happen. Cleveland, I love you guys, like pretty much what his tweet was. And
Mhm.
then Brown saying like, we want an adult at quarterback, and then them
Mhm.
going back and be like, oh, hey man, we always loved you. You
Yeah,
were
you're
always
our
our
guy.
first boo. Come back to us.
Mhm.
Just a asinine thing for the Browns organization to do. And
Yeah.
go ahead, yeah.
So to correct you on one thing, technically in those 4 years, the Browns have only had one winning season.
Was that their playoff run?
Um, it was the playoff run, yeah.
Gotcha.
I agree that he's I think at best he's serviceable. Even when people point to that playoff year, they had a bottom five strength of schedule, and I'm gonna play a little trivia with you. In that year, which I think is unquestionably Baker Mayfield's best year, Danger, do you know how many games Baker Mayfield threw for more than 300 yards in that year?
Oh, geez. 4.
Two.
Oh, serious?
So yeah, so it was never. I mean, it was on the back of the running game, the scheming. They had an okay defense, and again, it was powered by a bottom five schedule, and wouldn't have made the playoffs if they hadn't added a playoff team that year. So
Yeah.
now they did get a playoff
Oh,
win,
yeah.
which was very impressive, largely on the backs of their defense and special teams. I think he played it perfectly with that tweet.
Yeah,
And, I
I
don't
thought it was
blame
a
him for.
I thought it was a very reasonable tweet. And of course, the pundits at like NFL and ESPN are like, "Oh, what a jackass!" What I mean?
Mhm.
For him, like I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
and it was very, and I think it was intelligent from him, because this was definitely a tweet his agent told him to tweet, because this is very
Oh, yeah.
Aaron Rodgers esque what's going
Mhm.
on right now. Like, hey, guys, I love you. He's playing the good guy, and he was just like waiting for the Browns to mess up somehow. And the Browns just getting reported saying like, hey, we want an adult at QB. Like, Baker's camp is probably loving it right now.
Yeah. Last thing I'll say on that, because I don't know if we officially said it on the video yet. Baker Mayfield has officially requested a trade from the Cleveland Browns. In case you didn't know, the Browns have sources are saying that the Browns have said we are not going to trade you, which is nuts. So I have no idea how that's going to work out. You got your first guy that could play some semblance of quarterback in 20 years, and you made the playoff once, and now it looks like you're looking for a quarterback again. So now another big quarterback news, and again, all of this I think is to say how teams feel about the quarterback draft class. Russell Wilson has been traded to the Denver Broncos. 2 firsts, 2 seconds, a fifth. Drew Lock, Shelby Harris, who's a defensive lineman, and Noah Fant going to Seattle. So
Noah Fant got shafted in that trade.
Yeah,
Unreal, dude. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, if I was Noah Fant, I was like, hell yeah, like reading that tweet, like, hell yeah, we got Russell Wilson. He's just looking at all the trades and like, wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Yeah. So the AFC East now features the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes, the Chargers with Justin Herbert and all their weapons. Now the Broncos have themselves Russell Wilson and a good wide receiving core. And then the Raiders just got themselves Davante Adams for Derek Carr, and they still have Hunter Renfrow, who is a good receiver, but definitely needed some sort of boost to compete in the AFC. Seattle, right now their quarterback room is Drew Lock and Geno Smith. We'll see if they're in it for Baker Mayfield, or now they have the 9th overall pick from Denver, so maybe they feel strongly about a certain quarterback in this class. I'm not sure. Danger, you mentioned something earlier, and I want you to say it for the video. So Carson Wentz was traded to the Washington Commanders. Also, since our last video, the Washington football team got an official name. They are now the Commanders. So they went and got themselves Carson Wentz for a couple third-round picks. One of them can be upgraded to a second-rounder if Wentz plays more than 70% of the snaps. Danger, you saw something. After the Commanders traded for Carson Wentz, their Super Bowl odds went down.
Yeah, their odds of them got worse, which I found hilarious. Whatever, man. Wentz is an awful QB. I don't know what happened to him these last 3 years. It feels like the bettors are also in that same boat. Yeah, he went from the Commanders went from 5,500 to 6,000. A 500 point jump for a traded QB. That's a lot, man. Especially how big those odds were already, where they were just like, yeah, we're gonna add another 10% to this. That says a lot about what analysts and bettors are thinking about this trade. I found it hilarious too. I was just like, holy cow, man. Commanders just can't get anything right.
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, they have some good skill position guys. Terry McLaurin, Antonio Gibson. I do like their coach Ron Rivera, and they almost made the playoffs with Taylor Heineke. So, I mean, Carson blew it for the Colts last year. Maybe he can get them over the edge there, especially in the NFC East, which seems a little vulnerable. So we'll see how that works out. Tom Brady decided to, in the span that we, since our last video, a lot of stuff's happened since our last video.
I know.
Tom Brady retired and then unretired. So Tom Brady back under center for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
The tweets and memes I saw from that were hilarious, man. Tom Brady spent 40 days with his family and said, forget this, I'm going back. I'm so funny. Of course, of course that's not the case, but I mean, it's pretty funny to say the least.
One small one, as of right now, appears to be the starter. The Pittsburgh Steelers signed Mitch Trubisky to a 2-year contract.
That is going to be interesting to watch, man.
That will be interesting, and so I want to say on record right now, if there's anybody that can get something out of Mitch Trubisky or any player, it's Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, he's honestly probably one of the best quarterbacks. Best coaches in the league. Mm-hmm. Sean McVay.
He's top 5. Yeah, he's top 5.
Yeah, he's top 5 for sure.
So we'll see if they go the route in the draft, if they want to add some competition or not. But
That
At the
offense
moment, it
is
seems like Mitch Trubisky's going to be under center for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
yeah, that offense is young too, man.
Hmm.
Like Deontay Johnson, Juju Smith,
Najee Harris, Chase Claypool.
yeah, like and him, they're all like what 26.
Yeah,
Like
they've all been drafted recently.
yeah, man, that's good. That's gonna be a super young offense, and it's gonna be fun to watch them develop and see what Mike Tomlin can turn around on these guys. And honestly, man, this is a prove it year for Steelers. Prove it that like, hey, we weren't you know getting carried by Ben Roethlisberger. This is gonna be a prove it year for Mike Tomlin. Be like, hey, I can do more without him. You know, like. Yeah, man.
Well, I will say, I think last year showed that the roster carried Ben Roethlisberger.
I was about to say, yeah, if Mike can get that version of Ben Roethlisberger to the playoffs, Mitch can take him to the Super Bowl. Like,
I mean, that was outside of the year when Mason Rudolph was the starter due to injury. That was probably the worst Steelers team in Mike Tomlin's entire career. And he still
had a winning season with them.
Yeah, still got to the playoffs.
Still had a winning season.
So like, pretty nuts. I did want to mention one more, a couple more guys. Teddy Bridgewater signed with the Miami Dolphins. I'm willing to bet he plays at least 6 games this year. I just don't have much faith in Tua.
Over Tua?
Yeah.
I like Tua. And that, what was that guy's name? Mike, what? What was the head coach's name?
Oh, for Miami?
Yeah. New guy. Offensive coordinator
Mike McDaniel.
I think he's committed to him. And I personally like Tua. I never understood the hate. I mean, you know, a lot of that information came to light with Brian Flores recently with everything that's going on with him right now, too. Who's also defensive coordinator now for the Steelers. Funny enough, we were just talking about them.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Well, that's good. If that's the case, then... I believe you. I'm going to choose to believe you.
No, I'm pretty sure they picked him up. Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, I don't think he should have been fired in the first place.
No, he shouldn't have at all.
If he didn't believe in Tua and the front office does, then that's you just kind of have to at that point. But also there's other factors in play there, so we won't get into all of that. On the trading block, in addition to Baker Mayfield, Jimmy Garoppolo seems like he's going to be somewhere. At this point, could be Cleveland. Teams, so I guess I'll just go and teams essentially without a QB or need a significant upgrade. The Seahawks who are now picking 9th, they currently have Drew Lock and Geno Smith. The Carolina Panthers have the 6th overall pick, and they currently have Sam Darnold. So that's not going to work.
Wait, what about Cam Newton? I know he was only
on a 1-year deal. I don't think he's under contract. The Saints are in the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. The Indianapolis Colts have nothing right now. Sam Ehlinger's their starting quarterback.
It is so weird, like how Colts with a good quarterback, they could have made a huge run to the Super Bowl. With that team just emerging, it's so weird how you're just hearing nothing from that team right now on signups or trade value, anything really.
Well, they traded their first-round pick for Carson Wentz. So right now they don't have a quarterback and they don't have a first-round pick. So they've got to really be heavy into the Jimmy Garoppolo or Baker Mayfield talks. The Texans obviously will be looking for one
there.
Yeah,
I think Jimmy is literally the best option for that team.
I agree. The Texans are obviously going to be looking for one, whether it's in the trade with Deshaun Watson or they have the 3rd overall pick. And then I don't think they're going to do it. I think they're going to give him 1 more year, but obviously Daniel Jones and the Giants currently have the 5th and 7th overall picks this year. So they might look to upgrade. But
so so there's a couple of interesting things. Because in an interview, please remind me the head coach's name for the Texans.
Lovie Smith.
That's right. Yeah, he was the coach of the year back in 2016.
Yeah, he was the coach for the Bears for a long time, and then recently was the head coach for the University of Illinois.
He definitely liked. He said Mills is a good quarterback, and people underrated him. So there is a possibility that he is content with Mills being the starting quarterback. But if this Atlanta Falcons trade goes through, because with Matt Ryan, like, what are we thinking about Texans next year?
If Matt Ryan's playing quarterback for him,
Yeah.
I think it depends on what they do with that third overall pick. They're likely going to go defense with it if they already have a quarterback in place. But, Cooks, I think, becomes a lot more interesting. I think David Johnson would still be there at running back. I think they still have some work to do in terms of their skill positions. I don't have a ton of faith in their offense. With Lovie Smith, he's a defensive coach. It looks like, I wrote down that Pep Hamilton, who was their passing game coordinator last year, is now their offensive coordinator. So it seems like they promoted from within. It's not doing anything for me right now. I think I would view Houston in the same light, even if Matt Ryan was their quarterback next year.
Yeah.
I think Matt Ryan's better than Davis Mills. So if you're asking me to compare to that,
yeah.
I think
I think if he does give up his no trade, Matt Ryan, because I believe he also has a no trade clause. I was looking at all this stuff earlier. I think he would actually be an awesome pickup for the Colts too. Colts need a quarterback, and the reason why I think a lot of us and NFL in general, like NFL optics of like other industries, are just focusing on Colts is because they were close to a playoff run, and they need a quarterback. But like the person that we haven't really brought up is Seahawks, and I was messaging you earlier that Seahawks has actually inquired about a trade possibility for Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that. I think it would actually be decent, but because they're also a run-first offense.
I would avoid. I mean, I think he fits into their offensive scheme, but I would avoid DK Metcalf at all costs, fantasy-wise.
Yeah, and Lockett.
I almost think his upside is higher with Drew Lock because I've seen Drew Lock's arm. But we'll just have to see. One quick thing, just for note, just broke on Twitter that it is in fact a first and a second rounder for Davante Adams, and the Raiders are finalizing a deal that will make him the highest paid wide receiver in the league. And
apparently the Packers gave them the same deal, but he just decided he wanted to play somewhere else.
Yeah. Yep,
crazy, dude. What? Yeah. Why? What happened?
God, I don't know. Maybe there's something between him and Rodgers. I'm not sure.
Well,
you're right. Maybe it is Rodgers' fault.
Yeah. Well, there's a tweet here that I have on screen right now that says Rodgers was aware of the trade talks surrounding him, and in recent days before the blockbuster deal was completed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, apparently the deal was dead yesterday, but it came back to life, and now Adams is a Raider.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff that first week of free agency.
Yeah.
All right, so let's one more quarterback that could throw. He's going to be a factor, I think, in all of this quarterback movement. Marcus Mariota is a free agent at the moment, so I think somebody's going to pick him up. So we'll just have to see.
Which very well could be the Colts. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So with that, let's get into all of the other kind of notable free agents, and we're going to go division by division. So let's start with the AFC East. Let's start with my New York Jets, who I think they haven't done anything splashy, but I'm actually very happy with what they've done so far in free agency. Short up the offensive line, Laken Tomlinson, Pro Bowl guard from the San Francisco 49ers, got the deal done there. Defensively, Jordan Whitehead, the safety from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, DJ Reed, the cornerback from the Seattle Seahawks. Let me see, I'm all over the place here, so I apologize. The biggest one, Joe Flacco is back, so that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I don't think really lost anybody notable. A couple guys that'll come up here.
Well, one person I'll give a shout out to is CJ Uzama, dude.
Yes, thank you. I just happened to see that. So
was just what a shocking like trade. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was kind of like the
No,
heart of the
he was a
team.
free agent. He was a free agent.
Yeah,
So
I
it
just
was a
didn't think.
signing.
Yeah, I just didn't think he would leave.
So yeah, the Jets actually got themselves 2 tight ends, which I think fits really well with this offense. So
Our boy
CJ Uzama
Conklin.
from the Cincinnati Bengals, and then our boy Kirk Cousins' favorite late game target, Tyler Conklin.
Oh god, dude.
So didn't see that one coming, but that was I was happy with that. So again, nothing splashy, but I'm very happy with the direction that they've taken. And I think they're kind of done until the draft. So in terms of like anybody notable, Miami's spent a little bit.
Yeah.
They started off with re-signing Emmanuel Ogbah on the defensive side. They grabbed our boy Cedric Wilson, probably one of our favorite
Dude.
value plays from last year.
Yeah, he was awesome. I'm
Yeah,
very shocked Cowboys didn't see the same value in him at
yeah,
all.
yep. So Cedric Wilson. They also grabbed Chase Edmonds from the Arizona Cardinals.
Nice.
So he added him to the backfield there. Pardon
Raheem
me. And again, I'm
Morster's
sorry, I
on
was just
here.
writing stuff down.
Dude, can't wait to see this guy on the IR again.
Yeah. We talked about Bridgewater. We talked about their new head coach, Mike McDaniels, who was the 49ers offensive coordinator last year. So pretty solid so far for Miami. Which hurts to say, but I don't hate I don't hate what they've done by any means. So I'll take off my Jets colored glasses.
Yeah,
for that.
I like what they did. That's for darn sure.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
There's some good. Yeah, there's definitely good pickups here.
Yeah, Buffalo, their big one, Von Miller, 6 years for what 120 million. Yeah, so absolutely nuts.
Vaughn, thanks for the ring, buddy.
Yeah.
Good luck to
you.
you.
Well deserved.
Yeah.
Go get that bag. Maybe even another Super Bowl ring. I mean, Buffalo's a very good team.
Who right now, Buffalo Bills are the favorites to win it all by a plus 650 by a cool plus 650.
Yeah. So, not a ton outside of that for Buffalo. They did briefly signed J.D. McKissick from the Washington Commanders, and then McKissick decided to not go through with that. Yeah, he took the same deal back with Washington. So I don't know what he was thinking, but if he felt that was the best decision for him,
it's so crazy. Yeah,
that's been about it on the Buffalo side, outside of maybe some re-signings. New England. I got nothing for New England. I mean, they lost a bunch of people.
Yeah. James White, cool. Super shout out to Matthew Slater. Went to my high school. Go Friars. Yeah, good for you,
what
bud.
What a mascot.
Huh?
What a mascot.
I know, man. Hey, man, Catholic high school, dude. But yeah, man. Still gets talked about at that facility. Congrats to you, man. Getting paid 1 year, 2.6 million. You have like 3 Super Bowl rings. Hey, man.
Good.
Pride of the high school. What can I say?
Yeah, it just seemed weird. Like Gilmore's gone. I think they traded Shaq Mason, who is like he's a top guard in the league. So I couldn't tell you what they're doing. Yeah. They obviously lost Joe Tooney last year. Yeah. So New England. I don't know what they're doing, or if maybe they don't have the capacity to do anything. So we'll see how that affects Mac Jones next year.
Yeah, man.
Let's head over to.
They don't have any wide receiver talent, man. I mean,
Bourne.
Didn't they? I thought I saw they signed Ty Montgomery. They're gonna make him like a Cordell Patterson, but yeah.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I think Bourne is more in that role already,
sure.
but we'll see. Let's move over to the AFC North and so let's start with the Browns. We obviously talked about Baker Mayfield. This is a nightmare offseason, I think, for them.
Dude, they got rid of so many people.
Yeah, so they traded for Amari Cooper. So Amari Cooper's on the roster, and then 2 hours later they cut Jarvis Landry. They released J.C. Treader, their Pro Bowl center. Yeah. And who they released somebody else.
They got rid of Hooper.
Hooper, that was it.
Yeah.
Yep. They franchise tagged David Njoku. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it
This
really.
team looks ugly, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't blame Baker for trying to leave. I mean,
I
Amari
mean, it just
Cooper, who cares? Honestly, like
yeah.
I know he can have a high, dude, but he was injured a lot during his times at the Cowboys. Some of that was a
Yeah.
little bit of COVID, but yeah, he had like a leg injury. He didn't produce at all
Yeah.
either. People were saying like, oh, he was only like a fifth round and sixth round pick. What a steal, dude! I think that's appropriate. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
he hasn't done anything in 2 years.
Yeah, his
Um,
contract isn't great.
yeah,
And yeah, they went in the span of less than a year because they got rid of OBJ during the year. So in the span of less than a year, their top two wide receivers went from Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry to Amari Cooper and Donovan Peoples-Jones.
yeah,
So
yeah,
they're probably looking wide receiver in the first round.
yeah.
Um,
Which again, there's plenty of. It's actually gonna be kind of fun to see. Again, I don't have
yeah,
any familiarity with college, so that's you're gonna have to hold my hand through the that video that we do.
the mock draft. I got you.
Yeah,
I got you. Trust me, as a Jets fan, I live for mock drafts.
nice.
Um, the Cincinnati Bengals, nothing. I didn't have anything really crazy from them. They franchise tagged Jesse Bates, which was the right move. He's an incredible safety.
And got
But outside of
and getting tons of O linemen right now, dude. So they
yeah,
got
it
Alex
just
Kappa, huge.
mhm.
They
Oh
got
yeah, that's right.
yeah, they got Ted Karras, and they're also in the talks for holy cow, it just like happened right now. They
Oh, did
got
it?
him. Who?
I was asking you.
I'm trying to find it right now. Uh, Aaron Rodgers did sign his contract. That's funny.
Yeah, 2 days ago. That's just
Yeah,
nuts.
people were making sure. Oh, holy cow! Where is it? Talk while I find it, dude.
Okay, I will. So we'll move on to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously, we mentioned Mitch Trubisky. Seems like they're starting quarterback at the moment. They signed James Daniels, a guard from Chicago, so shoring up that offensive line there. Um, I don't think I don't have anything else really notable in my opinion in terms of the Pittsburgh side of things. So we'll move on from there. And then Baltimore has been spending some money. Um, Before I talk about the guys they signed, they did briefly have Zadarius Smith committed to them, the linebacker. I think he was recently with Green Bay. He earlier today decided, no, I'm not going to do that. So he Zadarius Smith is still a free agent. Baltimore did sign Marcus Williams, the safety from New Orleans, 5 years, $70 million. Good for him.
Yeah.
uh, so, but nothing else. I feel like I'm missing a move, so I apologize. But we'll just move on to the next division. So, the AFC South. I'm gonna save the Jaguars for last because they went nuts on that first day. Um, the uh, the Houston Texans, obviously new head coach Lovie Smith with the Chicago Bears for a long time, also with the University of Illinois. He's a defensive coach. Pep Hamilton was their passing coordinator last year. They've promoted him to offensive coordinator. I think a lot of their moves are just based on what's going to happen with the Deshaun Watson trade. I don't really have. I know they made one other move that I wrote down, but I can't quite seem to recall exactly what it was, and I'm sure it wasn't. Uh,
I
I'm sure
think
it would have stuck out to me.
I can't find it. But man, this was somewhat recent too. I think it was like the left tackle from the Cowboys that got released.
Oh, Lyle Collins.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I
so
think
yeah, that would be a good one.
yeah that the Cincinnati's picking up.
Yeah, okay, that would be great for them.
Yeah.
He's still a really solid guy. Um, the Tennessee Titans made a few moves. I thought the big one, not I think their biggest move, but I think the biggest in terms of name value. They have released Julio Jones.
Yeah.
They traded a second round pick for him. He played 1 year with the Titans, 10 games, 434 yards,
N-
one touchdown.
Literally
So
nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing.
And
So
AJ Green really stepped up, like just right, yeah,
mhm.
huge.
AJ Brown.
Brown, thank you. I knew it was a color. Uh, but uh, but
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm getting my receivers mixed up too. If you guys haven't watched the show, I get names wrong all the time. But yeah,
It's a hallmark.
huge performance out of the guy. Julio essentially did nothing, and there's already reports that Tom Brady has been calling Julio Jones to come on down.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
Well, that would be a bummer for sure, but
yeah,
you got to chase that ring when you can get it.
yeah.
Um,
And before I want to talk, I want to before we move on, I want to play a game with you.
okay.
With the release of Julio Jones
Okay.
in the league currently right now, who is the second highest paid receiver?
Right now,
Yes, I'll tell you who the first one is. DeAndre Hopkins.
yeah, I feel like it's going to be something crazy. Well, DeAndre Hopkins would be second now if this Davante Adams, but we'll ignore the Davante
Oh
Adams thing.
yeah. Okay, who's the third recently right now?
It's Christian Kirk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? Like yeah,
Because it's the Jaguars.
Christian Kirk is like a Deshaun Jackson, Van Jefferson type of receiver. He's the
Yeah.
deep threat. There's no reason why. Like, first of all, good for you, Christian Kirk. Like, give me your agent's number, man. He apparently he can work miracles. But
He deserves it.
yeah, he deserves it. Signing a 4-year deal with the Jags for 72. So, I have to say, man, these Jag acquisitions, dude, are just like
Yeah.
awful. Like,
Well, yeah, that's why I wanted to save him for last, so we'll jump into that in a minute.
Go, yeah, do your thing.
Elsewhere for the Titans, they released Janoris Jenkins, the cornerback, and then they also extended Harold Landry to a pretty good contract. What was it? 5 years, $85 million. So good for him there. The Indianapolis Colts, again, they don't have much ammo to do anything. I think they re-signed Mo Alley Cox, 3 years, $18 million. So that's really about it in terms of fantasy relevance. I don't have much left for them. And then, yeah, let's talk about Jacksonville. So, first of all, I think they who did they hire as their head coach? Peterson, Doug Peterson.
Doug Peterson, yeah.
So Doug Peterson is their new head coach. Won a Super Bowl with Philadelphia a few years ago. So that's an immediate upgrade over Urban Meyer. So yeah, some of these. So Christian Kirk, 4 years, $84 million. That is nuts.
What a waste of cap space, man. This deal should have been half as much. Like,
yeah. So that was nuts. They franchise tagged Cam Robinson, their offensive tackle. They gave Evan Ingram $10 million for 1 year. Signed all of it.
Why? Yeah.
Well, here's another one. Zay Jones, 3 years, $30 million.
Jeez.
And then Foye Owakun, linebacker from Atlanta, 3 years, $46 million. That one I thought was okay. And then Brandon Scherf, the guard from Washington, who when healthy is a very good guard. 3 years, $50 million. So just nuts. I feel like I'm missing another one. They released Miles Jack. So there you go.
Are you talking about Foley Fatuski?
Oh yeah, Foley Fatukasi. Yep,
Thank
the
you.
defensive tackle from
million?
the Jets. Yeah, he and well deserved. I loved Foley. I was actually kind of disappointed they didn't bring him back. So happy for him. But I mean, the Jaguars just went nuts on free agency here. I feel like they released some other people too.
And just awful pickups, man. Like,
yeah.
Evan Ingram,
I mean, this was just not the way.
$10 million, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it just seemed like they were throwing cap out to try and throw a Band-Aid on the whole roster because they don't want to ruin Trevor Lawrence's career.
And like, how did you not keep DJ Chark through this whole thing?
Yeah.
Chark? How do you say his name?
DJ Chark.
Chark. How do you not? He was by far your best receiver last year. Like,
Well, was he hurt for most of it?
was he?
He might have been.
I don't know, man.
But either
I
way,
don't give a shit
he's
about the
better than Christian
Jaguars.
Kirk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's
Like,
just
and
that was just nuts.
DJ Moore didn't do anything. I mean, granted, the whole team was just an absolute mess last year.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting to watch. Like, Doug Peterson's just gonna be put under a microscope by the league and all the news outlets too on how he just turns this around. But yeah. I'll give you. Let's play another game. In the past 10 years, let me two questions. In the past 10 years, and this is the leading one, who has spent the most in free agency?
Over the past 2 years?
Yeah. And by how much? And I'll tell you the team's average has been 800 million. Like the rest of the league's average have been 800 million in the past 10 years of spending in free agency.
So I'm gonna do a first guess, even though I don't think it's correct. I think it might be a little leading, but is it Jacksonville?
Yeah, they have spent the most.
Okay,
but how much do you think they have spent in those 10 years? And again, the average per team, same thing, has only been 800 million.
So how much higher?
Yeah. Well, how much total?
150 million.
And no, throughout the 10 years.
Oh.
They have spent
$2 billion.
Very close. They have spent $1.7 billion.
Jeez.
On nothing, dude.
Nothing.
On literally 45 wins.
Yeah.
They have spent $1.7 billion. Dude, I asked this last year, and I'm asking again, make me a GM. I can do better business decisions than whoever the hell you have in charge over there. Like, oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
That's crazy.
I'm so frustrated at this.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So that's about it on the Jacksonville side.
Can you hear the rain, by the way?
What's that?
Can you hear the rain? Okay. It's like raining hard.
Okay.
Okay. But, dude, yeah, I know what you're moving on to, and I want to hype it up. Let's talk about the most exciting division of football right now, and that is going to be the AFC West, dude.
Yeah.
Powerhouse after powerhouse after powerhouse after powerhouse for these four teams, dude. It's going to be so much fun to watch them. I'm probably going to get a VPN so I can watch these West Coast games. And like, it's going to be wild, man. Who do you want to start off with, dude?
So I'll start with the Chiefs because it seems like they maybe had the slowest at the moment offseason, and rightfully so. They got to pay Patrick Mahomes, but they restructured Frank Clark's contract, so he's still around for the Kansas City Chiefs. I saw another one. They franchise tagged Orlando Brown, so they maintain some solid offensive line play. They re-signed Justin Reed, safety, for $31.5 million over 3 years, so that's not bad. I don't think I have anything else notable for the Chiefs.
Yeah, they released or didn't sign Mathis, right?
Matthew, yep, Tyrann Matthew, the Honey Badger, is still a free agent at the time of this recording.
Crazy.
The Los Angeles Chargers, they spent some money. They did a good amount. So they re-signed Mike Williams, 3 years, $60 million. They traded for Khalil Mack. So a second and a 6th-round pick, and the Los Angeles Chargers now have Khalil Mack on their roster. Yeah. They signed cornerback J.C. Jackson, 5 years, $82 million. The quarterback from the Patriots. So that was another guy that the Patriots lost. So actually, I think I was thinking of him when I said Stephon Gilmore. So yeah, so the Chargers, they saw the Russell Wilson trade and thought, well, we better spend some money here too.
Dude, the value that they got out of the trade for Khalil Mack is insane. A 2nd-round draft pick and a 6th round. and that 6th round pick is 2023.
Yeah.
Insane. And shout out to Sebastian Joseph Day. Thanks for the ring, buddy. Hoping you get another one here.
Yeah.
Good job on getting paid, man. 3 years, 24 million, 15 million fully guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For a D lineman, for a D lineman that's not Aaron Donald or TJ Watt.
TJ Watt.
Yeah, like
we were on the same page there.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good money, man.
Good job. We'll move on to the Denver Broncos. They were one of the teams that also got a new head coach, so they hired Nathaniel Hackett, who was the Packers offensive coordinator last year. I think that was a play to try and get Aaron Rodgers if the Packers couldn't get a deal done. But once the Aaron Rodgers deal was done, they went and traded for Russell Wilson, which we covered already.
Yeah.
Elsewhere
Huge.
For Denver, Randy Gregory, who originally had committed to a 5-year, $70 million contract with the Cowboys, so he was going to re-up there, instead decided to take the same deal with Denver. So
did you hear Gregory, why that happened?
So I heard it was about the language, which is dumb, and here's why.
Insane.
Because my understanding of it is it's the language about, like, what you can get in trouble for, all that kind of stuff. That language is in the collective bargaining agreement. So the Cowboys just had it in their contract. The Broncos didn't have it in their contract, but he's still subject to those rules under the Denver Broncos.
Well, not just that, the Cowboys changed the language. So the guaranteed money would be, so league wide, it sounds like this is standard practice. League wide, the guaranteed money is threatened if you are suspended. For Randy Gregory, for some reason, for the Cowboys, they changed it from a suspension to a singular fine that you get, which is, and in NFL 2022, the year of our Lord, like, people get fined for freaking anything nowadays, dude. So like his guaranteed money would have been at risk for a single fine, which he was just like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so that makes a little more sense then. So thank you for correcting me.
No problem. I like going into details on this crap.
Yeah, for sure. And then let's talk about the Raiders. They've had quite an offseason. So obviously, they got themselves a new coach as well. Let me find that over here. Josh McDaniels, the Patriots offensive coordinator.
This has
he is now the coach for the Las Vegas Raiders. Obviously, they traded for Davante Adams just now before we started recording. They re-signed Max Crosby, 4 years, $99 million. That's right. 4 years, $99 million for Max Crosby. So good for him. Get that bag, Iowa kid. They also went and got Chandler Jones. So they're really trying to shore up that pass rush, that defensive line. And they traded, after that, Yannick Ngakoue, I hope I'm saying that correctly, to the Colts. So I guess that was one of the Colts' significant moves. They get themselves Yannick. Rock Ya-Sin, yep. And then they also released Carl Nassib, and I don't think that's like too fantasy relevant, but I always liked him.
The Nassib thing was because he was like a rotational D end, and sorry, man.
Solid.
Yeah, there just wasn't a place for you. You'll find a home.
Yeah, for sure. He'll find work. So good for him. So I think that's all I had on the Raider side. So let's move over to the NFC, and we'll start with the East.
I still wanted to talk about the West just a little bit, dude.
Oh, go ahead, please.
I like, because this division is going to be such a powerhouse. I do want to say, after just looking on paper, obviously everything that we've looked at, is it weird that I think that the Kansas City Chiefs are the weakest team out of these four right now?
Yes, I think that's weird.
Really?
But I could see the argument. I think it's buying a little too much into the hype. I still think, just all around roster, I still maybe think that the Raiders might be the weak link in that scenario.
Really?
Just because if I'm ranking the quarterbacks, it's going to go.
I mean,
Mahomes. I would put Mahomes, Herbert, and Wilson above, but it's close. I don't want it to sound like I think they're going to win 4 games.
Derek Carr now has Davante Adams, Hunter Renfrow, and Darren Waller to throw to.
Darren Waller. And he's got
Crazy.
Josh Jacobs in the backfield.
Yeah, crazy, dude.
So it's a good division. Now, for anybody listening, and this applies to me too, if you have a team that plays in the AFC and the AFC West looks stacked, the good news is not all of them can make the playoffs. I guess they could, but it would be very unlikely. So you have the benefit of some of those teams being eliminated if your team is hoping to yourself make the playoffs. So that's how I'm trying to look at it, because that division is absolutely nuts to watch. Or it's going to be, at least.
Real quick, sorry. We do have an update on the Deshaun Watson. It's not exciting. Apparently he's going to make his decision over the weekend. Per sources, though, per league sources, over which team he'll waive is no trade clause for, and Falcons have pushed back. Yeah, what we talked about earlier have been pushed back. Matt Ryan's. Oh, dude, the Falcons reached out to the NFL to push back Matt Ryan's $7.5 million roster bonus from Friday to Tuesday. So they had to pay Matt Ryan's roster bonus tomorrow. And they have just asked the NFL if they can push it back to Tuesday. Crazy. Wow. That's
nuts.
And apparently it's been granted.
Jeez. That was quick.
Yeah, okay.
Wow. So, thank you for the update.
Sorry.
Let's move over to the NFC East. I'm going to start with the Giants because there's really not much to talk about there. So they got themselves a new head coach, Brian Daboll, who was the Bills' offensive coordinator. That first day of free agency, they really weren't doing anything, and I saw a report from one of their beat reporters, because often they cross over with the Jets, that they've been telling teams and free agents and agents of those free agents that they don't have any money. And so they spent too much before on like Kenny Golladay and those guys.
Oh, that's
and that
right.
They haven't. And they don't have any money to sign anybody. I do know that they made one move that I wrote down.
Who? Tyrod Taylor?
That might have been it, actually.
He's expected to sign a 2-year deal, $11 million.
So thank you for saving me some time there.
I forgot that they have the highest paid receiving core in the league from just those two players. What was it? Kenny Golladay and who was the other guy?
So they have Tony, but he's on a rookie deal. Slayton and Shepard. Sterling Shepard.
Yeah.
But it's got to be the Jaguars now, right? I mean, you got Marvin Jones. I saw something that said that the Jaguars receivers between Marvin Jones and now Christian Kirk and Zay Jones are now making more combined than Mike Evans, Cooper Kupp, and I think it was DeAndre Hopkins combined. So Diggs, it was Stephon Diggs. Evans, Kupp, and Diggs collectively make less than Christian Kirk, Marvin Jones, and Zay Jones.
Yeah, the strategy to pay your quarterback first, then the rest of your staff, it's a good strategy to fall in line with.
Yeah. Let's move on to Dallas. We talked about how they lost out on Randy Gregory, but they did re-sign DeMarcus Lawrence, 3 years, $40 million. They franchise tagged our boy Dalton Schultz, so he's got himself a good deal there. And then they traded Amari Cooper and decided we're going to roll with Michael Gallup, 5 years, $58 million for Michael Gallup. So good for him. I don't think I have anything left for Dallas.
I think a lot of people, when they heard the trade go down, immediately went, "Oh, they're going to get Deshaun Watson."
Nope.
But they are picking 9.
How do I pause this? Okay. Oop. Yeah, I was looking for where the. Okay, so they have the 24th pick, Cowboys. So I was I'm like, they're getting a receiver too this year, I think too, in the draft.
Yeah, but I think they're going to be out of contention for the top ones. I mean, you know, between CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, and
Wilson's gone. Remember,
Cedric Wilson's gone. Amari Cooper's gone. But I still feel like they'll be in okay shape, either with a later round guy or or maybe some guys that are
still
sitting out
if
there.
you guys play fantasy, Dalton Schultz value, depending on what happens in the draft, probably went up a little bit as a tight end here.
Yep, for sure.
Top 5,
Moving on, the newly named Washington Commandos. Obviously, we talked about Carson Wentz. They also re-signed J.D. McKissick after he decided to shun the Buffalo Bills for some reason. And I don't think I have anything really else for Washington.
Carson
I think
Wentz,
we said
who cares?
all we wanted to say. Yeah, I think at this point, I think a lot of people think who cares with Carson Wentz, but I would still be very interested in their skill positions. Antonio Gibson, Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, QBs go to the Washington Commanders when their career is dead, like officially.
Yeah, that's what it seems like historically.
Yeah.
And then who's the last team in the? Oh, Philadelphia.
Philly.
I don't think they've done much. They released Fletcher Cox. They signed Hassan Reddick. And then the linebacker from I think Arizona, and then they re-signed Jason Kelsey, their center. So. Keeping some on the offensive line. But...
Yeah, so it's weird because they released him, but they have Fletcher Cox, but they have the intention of renegotiating a deal with him. But there is mumblings and murmurs that he's talking to the Rams right now, and I was like, okay, like I can dig that, man.
I would take him. Yeah. Oh, dude, Fletcher Cox and Aaron Donald.
Oh, gross. With hopefully praying to the gods that we get Bobby Wagner, dude.
Oh yeah, So Bobby Wagner at the time of this recording, Bobby Wagner is still a free agent. Let's move on to the NFC North. So Green Bay, there's not much to talk about. They haven't done much of anything other than re-sign Aaron Rodgers and trade Davante Adams. That's the theme of their offseason. Minnesota finally fired Mike Zimmer. They went and got Kevin O'Connell, the Rams offensive coordinator, to be their head coach. They gave Kirk Cousins a 1 year,
happened?
$35. Yeah.
Gosh, dude, we just can't hold a coach down there for more than a year, dude.
It's the McVay coaching tree.
Yeah,
dude, his
trees. Hey, man, hey, good. Rams is the place to go if you want to get an education on coaching, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, the Sean McVay coaching tree, the Kyle Shanahan coaching tree, I think have at this point kind of overtaken the Belichick and Arians coaching trees because they're getting so many.
Yeah, I was about to say Sean McVay's coaching tree is already more successful than Coach Billy over there. I mean, for God's sakes, the guy he coached. His quarterback coach from 2 years ago, he was just playing against him in the Super Bowl. So I mean,
yeah. So they, I think they restructured Harrison Smith. I think that was about it. That was notable on the Minnesota side of things. Detroit, also surprisingly didn't do much given all the holes on their roster. They did sign DJ Chark to a 1 year, $10 million deal. So he might be, he probably immediately becomes. Well, I don't know. It depends on what he looks like healthy, because Amon-Ra St. Brown.
It just appeared out of nowhere as their wide receiver one the last 4 games. Went
nuts. So that's not a bad. And if you recall, at the beginning of the season, they signed Tyrell Williams, I believe, from the Chargers. So and he was hurt like all year. So now Detroit's wide receiver group isn't that bad.
Yeah, and they got Josh Reynolds too, man. Like they have.
That's right.
They got that connection. From their time zone at the Rams.
Yeah, and obviously T.J. Hawkinson. You can't forget about T.J. Hawkinson.
Yeah, even though he literally, after the first 4 games, he literally didn't do anything the rest. Well, at the same time, he was their only a weapon for those games. Yeah.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, I mean, effectively until St. Brown came along.
Yeah.
But I don't have much more for Detroit either.
Yeah.
And then the Chicago Bears, I'm not terribly impressed with their offseason. So they hired Matt Eberflus, the Colts defensive coordinator, as their head coach. That obviously doesn't help Justin Fields, so they hired Luke Getsy, who was the Packers quarterbacks coach, as their offensive coordinator. So, that's a little helpful for Justin Fields there. But outside of that, they signed Larry Ogunjobi, a defensive tackle, for $40 million. But then they released Eddie Goldman and Tariq Cohen. So it looks like that backfield is purely David Montgomery's at this point.
And they got rid of another receiver that we will talk about later in this.
Yes, they did. Which
I'm excited for. Yes. And
we'll save the anticipation there, because that was our boy. Even though we knew that was our boy last year in our videos, but also we knew not to play him because of the situation.
We were like, he's our boy, but Mooney, though, am I right?
Yeah, Mooney. Yeah. I had a couple Cole Kmet weeks. Yeah, it was just
What was the thing that we said? Like, Trey Lance would rather die than throw the ball to this guy. Yeah.
He would rather throw it back. Justin Fields would rather throw it backwards than throw it to Allen Robinson. He'd rather throw it to the other team than Allen Robinson. Yeah. So I just spoiled the name, but we will talk about him later because he did sign or somewhere earlier today. Moving on to the NFC South, Atlanta, we talked about, they're in the running for Deshaun Watson. They extended Jake Matthews on the offensive line, 3 years, $52 million. They also re-signed their kicker, Younghoe Koo. So fans, to my understanding, Atlanta fans were happy about that. So good for him. 5 years, $24 million for Younghoe Koo. I don't know where that puts him in terms of pricing and kickers, but that's about it. And I think a lot of Atlanta's been. Oh, how could I almost forgot, because everything's happened so much over the last few days that anything prior to that seems like really old news. Calvin Ridley has been suspended for the whole year.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
For allegedly gambling on NFL games while he wasn't playing.
Yeah.
One of them, I guess, was on the Falcons. I joked about it. He didn't do much. The morality of it, I'm not going to talk about. But what I thought was funny was that the game specifically he got in trouble for was he bet on the Falcons against the Jaguars, and I was like, well, that's not insider trading. Anybody could have bet against the Jaguars. So Atlanta currently they have to be going for a wide receiver unless their first round pick is going to Houston, because they don't have Calvin Ridley. They lost Russell Gage, who I will talk about here in a moment.
Crazy.
So yeah, just a bad situation there for Atlanta wide receivers. Carolina, not a bad offseason for them so far. They signed safety Xavier Woods, 3 years, $15 million. So I thought that was an underprice. I thought that was a really good deal for Carolina. But they kept their coach at the moment. Their quarterback is Sam Darnold. So we'll see. Oh, and they signed Rashad Higgins, Browns wide receiver. The Panthers did. So
yeah. I would want to point one thing out too. They signed Deontay Foreman, who was the backup for Tennessee, who was the standout out of the two. And that's also telling because there were reports that they were open to a trade for Christian McCaffrey. If you guys don't know, McCaffrey's a freaking stud, first of all. If he can stay healthy for more than 3 games a season. Like he has the raw athleticism and will, but the body is not willing. Man, body likes to pull a lot of things on him.
Yeah. I mean, I'd still probably take him first overall in a fantasy draft at this moment if I was drafting now.
If he's in the 3rd round, maybe.
Yeah. The New Orleans Saints, they're the last to cross off the list on the head coaching tree. Sean Payton is gone now. They hired Dennis Allen, who was their defensive coordinator, so they promoted from within. Outside of that, they did sign Marcus May, former Jets safety. I don't have the contract details, but that's if you're not familiar with him, when Marcus May is healthy, he's a very good safety. It's just that his health is sometimes a concern. So if you're a Saints fan and you're wondering about Marcus May, from a Jets fan, he was one of the lone bright spots on the defense. So he's very good when he's on the field. I don't really have much else about New Orleans. And then obviously Tampa Bay seems like they're reloading. Tom Brady comes out of retirement. They franchise tagged Chris Godwin, but then got an extension done. So they gave Chris Godwin a 3-year contract. Re-signed Carlton Davis, cornerback, for $45 million. Re-signed Ryan Jansen, who I believe is their center. He's somewhere on the offensive line, for another $40 million. So Tampa Bay
negotiated Mike Evans' contract again.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay.
Yeah, like he's taking even less money from last time as well. And like I said earlier, Tom Brady apparently is talking to Julio Jones to come on down, dude. Yeah, but
man, yeah. I mean, somebody's got to replace Antonio Brown, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just a nuts off season for them. And then I think that's it there. So we can move on to the NFC West, and Danger, I'm going to save your team for last. We started with my team. We'll end it with your team. Let's start with the Arizona Cardinals. James Conner, 3 years, $21 million extension, well deserved. And then our boy Zach Ertz got another 3 years, $31 million from the Arizona Cardinals. They obviously lost Christian Kirk. I don't know if AJ Green is still under contract or not with them. They had some Kyler Murray drama earlier in the year, but I think that's kind of settled down. I did miss one, by the way. I'm sorry. Tampa Bay did sign Russell Gage from the Atlanta Falcons, so that's where he went. So I think that's it for that.
James Conner, that's pretty huge. He was a great running back for them last season.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And then they lost Chase Edmonds as well, and Hassan Reddick. I don't know how much of a loss Hassan Reddick is, but the Eagles felt he was a good addition to their roster. The San Francisco 49ers, it doesn't seem like they did much. I mean, they're trying to trade Jimmy Garoppolo. They lost Laken Tomlinson to the New York Jets, so they'll have a spot at guard that they need to fill up. But I don't have much else for
the longer they keep Jimmy, the more value they're going to get out of him.
In this quarterback market, I agree. Normally, I think it would be the opposite, but I think in this case, I agree. I think especially that you have to wait to see what Watson goes for.
Yeah, exactly. Once that one domino tips over, man, we're just going to see tons of things going on with quarterbacks.
Yep.
I know it's against intelligence, but he could very much well be traded to the Seahawks too.
Yeah, I doubt they'd trade him within division unless they really felt like
it's against intelligence, but if they're willing to trade picks and stuff like that, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I think as it stands right now, I think the most likely landing spots for Jimmy Garoppolo are either Cleveland or Indianapolis.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Seattle, we already mentioned they got some draft capital for Russell Wilson. They signed re-signed Quandre, or I don't know if it was signed or re-signed, so I apologize if he was there last year. But Quandre Diggs, 3 years, $40 million for the Seattle Seahawks. And then let's finish it with the LA Rams, the Super Bowl champion LA Rams. So Andrew Whitworth has retired. So his last game, I saw a really cool video the other day.
Thank you for your service, sir.
It was him on the field with his kids. After that was as a father, that was very, very touching to me.
Great player, greater dad.
The Rams did re-sign Joe Noteboom.
Yeah.
For 3 years, $40 million. So I don't know if was he like a swing tackle, or is he kind of going to replace Whitworth?
He's replacing Whitworth for sure. He backed up. There was a game during the playoffs where Whit had to stay out for injury, and he replaced him, and he was great. So this is good. I think he's he has to be 20. Yeah, that's what I say. I think he's like 25 or something like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he's 26. Yeah, he's the understudy of Whitworth, man. Very shocked he got paid $40 million, but hey, who am I to judge? You know what I mean?
Left tackle is one of the most important positions in
the blind
football.
Side of the QB. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, the Rams also released Johnny Hecker, so easily the best punter on the market, I think.
No, that's right. He was like,
yeah.
It's weird because I think it was only like $3 million in cap space.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I was just
it was weird. I don't know. I don't know what happened there.
I mean, he's one of the best, but like last couple of seasons, he's been very hit or miss.
Yeah. And then the last one, the big one, the Rams load up and they go and grab Allen Robinson.
Dude.
Nuts. Now they don't have Odell Beckham at the moment. At the moment, Odell Beckham is a free agent, but even after the Allen Robinson signing, I saw a report that said they are interested in still bringing back Odell Beckham Jr.
And it's because they can get him at a value. Because again, if you guys aren't aware, he tore his ACL, so he's going to be in recovery. So he's going to probably come back midway through the season. So if they literally could just probably throw like $800,000 at him for 7 games, you know what I mean? And like,
yeah, I mean, I think it'll be more than that, for name value and just to have him. But I mean, if that happens, you're looking at a wide receiver room that we were talking about before the show: Cooper Kupp, Allen Robinson, Odell Beckham Jr., Robert Woods, Van Jefferson,
Tyler Higbee. Disgusting.
How do you stop that? Yeah,
disgusting receiver core that they got there. Like it's
yeah.
Dude, there's going to be a lot of egos, man. Like, if Robert Woods was not happy about his ball production when it was just... Yeah, before. Dude, just Cooper Kupp overtaking this, man. Oh, jeez, dude. He's definitely not going to be happy after this. How much was the signing of Odell Beckham last year? It was like $1.5 million or something, right?
For the Rams? Well, they traded. They traded for him.
Did they?
Yeah, he was with Cleveland. Cleveland traded him at the deadline because his dad posted that video about how Baker Mayfield sucks.
No, they totally released them.
That's right, they did.
They totally released them.
You are correct. That's right, they did. They just straight up cut him.
I
don't know what his contract was.
I think his contract was. I only know this because I'm a Rams fan, but I think it was like a little over $1 million, and I only know this is because he wanted to get paid in Bitcoin, and he did.
Right.
And he got taxed half of that, which is $500,000, and then
Bitcoin crashed.
Then Bitcoin crashed, so he only has like 30,000 or something ridiculous. Like right now? So again,
hey, whatever. He got a Super Bowl out of it. So which is priceless.
Yeah.
So that's all that I had for the Rams. Some notable guys that are still on the market that I just wanted to bring up: Teron Armstead, Bobby Wagner. Danger, I know you were talking about him. You're hoping that the Rams grab him. I think he's going to go to the Cowboys, but we'll see.
I mean, with $30 million of the money that we were going to pay Von Miller, some of that going to Allen Robinson, I still think we have like $30 million to spare. Outside of the Aaron Donald deal, I could see that we could pick up Bobby Wagner for like 20 mil.
Yeah. Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, still out there. Odell Beckham, still technically a free agent. Our boy Cordarrelle Patterson is still, at the time of this recording, a free agent. I have no idea where he would go, but wherever he does go,
those two names,
I wish him the best.
Those two names you just said right there, like, again, I think, and Odell does seem like he wants to stay in Rams too. Like, again, they showed him appreciation. They got the best production out of him in 7 years. But I can definitely see the Packers reaching out to both of those guys. Yeah. Just being like, hey, come on down. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
Even though I know Patterson's a running back, but I think he lined up more as a receiver last year.
Yeah, he was effectively, we'd said throughout the year, he was effectively Atlanta's wide receiver 1.
He really was.
And RB1. Stephon Gilmore, cornerback, is still out there. Eric Fisher, offensive lineman, still out there. And then we mentioned at the beginning, Marcus Mariota is probably going to play a factor in the quarterback carousel that we've seen this year.
Dude, the one QB I'm just honestly shocked that no one gives a shit about is, please help me with the name. Backup for Eagles.
Foles? No.
He's with the Bears now.
Backup last year. Gardner Minshew?
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
He showed proof that he can play, like, last year. And Mitch just sat on the bench. Like, no offense to Mitch, but I don't... Weird.
Yeah, he was, he was on the Bengals, or not the Bengals, the Eagles, last year, and I know that because he hung 50 on the New York Jets. So
that's what I'm saying. Fun. It's just weird that people aren't bringing him up instead of Mariota, but Mariota and Mitch are. Very strange. I think he has a weak agent, man. I was about to say, dude, honestly, very much well could. I mean, dude, seriously, reach out to Christian Kirk's agent. You'll get better. Yeah. You'll get better value.
Yeah. So that's it. Again, we want to, if you've made it this far, thank you.
Yeah, long video.
We want to do a mock draft, just we're not going to do a full 7-round mock draft. We'll just do a first round mock draft here. Probably shortly before the draft, maybe like a week or so before, when it really, free agency is obviously settled down and we kind of know what teams are missing what pieces. And then again, we want to do a live stream, during the draft, which I think is going to be a blast. And that'll be more fun for me because Danger, you got your Super Bowl. I have my 2 top 10 picks. They're almost the same thing. So we'll try and do a live stream and we'll keep you guys posted. And the way that we will keep you posted on that is if you join our Discord in the link below. Danger, any closing thoughts on our first, I guess, our first official video of the 2022 NFL season?
Closing thoughts. I can't wait for the repeat, man. For the Rams to go all the way and win it again, dude. No, man, it's gonna be fun, and I'm hoping that we're gonna do more. At least me, I would like to do more with the channel. Maybe get into like fantasy football territory. I'm excited for that. Maybe do some more
like season long. You mean?
Yeah, like an extra video on like who to pick up and whatnot. Like all that. And dude, would love to have you there.
I mean, we'll definitely need some summer content for sure. So
yeah, dude, get with the Edge and maybe some other people and try to get like a YouTube fantasy football league going.
Let's reach out to the Edge and see if they want to do a fantasy football mock draft sometime during the summer.
Wait, why during the summer?
Well, just because that's before the football season. Because then fall is football season.
Oh, okay. Sorry, man.
I'm saying a fantasy football mock draft.
Fantasy football. Duh. Yeah. Sorry, it totally got disconnected there. But no, that would be awesome, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love it.
I've been in talks with some other YouTubers too, dude. So hopefully we can get it all going.
Yeah, I would love to do some sort of collaboration. I had a blast when we did that video with the Edge guys. So hope we can do some more content with them. Well, everybody, thank you for watching. Again, like, comment, subscribe, join the Discord. This video will probably come out shortly before I'm going to probably do my NASCAR video tonight. Although it's probably going to be a short one because I'm not sure what to expect at this racetrack coming up on Sunday, but it should be a good time. Everybody, for maybe hopefully the final time this video, thank you for watching. I didn't know how to close it. Hopefully this is a little stronger way to close it. Just like, comment, subscribe. Click the link in the description. What am I doing?
We're closing it.
I'm closing it. I'm sorry. It's been a long video.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Final warning. Bye.
Good job.